Class is in session, this is the show where knowledge is profit, just so you know. Army Piper, OC guy, and Trade Fly, bringing crypto news to the whole alumni. It's the word on the market, the one-stop shop for the info you need every time that it drops. The go-to show that you need right now. This is Piper Academy, it's all going down, let's go.
Yo, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the morning report market open here on Piper Academy. Guys, I'm looking at a lot of data here today. Yes, we got a nice little rally back up. Some altcoins are up tremendously, but is it a trap? Is this should you be taking heed and caution right now, guys? We're going to be looking at a lot of data. Stick around. Let's get it. Class is in session. Good morning and welcome to Piper Academy, guys. This is the morning market report show, and I'm Army Piper. We come at you every morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Guys, I'm looking at this bounce. We've got a lot of tokens. We're going to look at them. There's a lot of them got a nice little rally yesterday, right? But they all hit some key resistances and got rejections off of them. Matter of fact, if you were in our Discord community, I even gave a warning yesterday about what was going on with Bitcoin, getting rejection perfectly on a retest on the bottom of the golden pocket. And guys, I just want you guys to be a little bit cautious. That's all I'm asking. If you guys are, I actually have a plan. I am buying right now. But I have a plan for it. I'll lay that all out for you guys too. But caution is the word of the day. Let's jump over though. I'm not doing this by myself. We got OC here right now, and then we got Tradefly coming in here just a little bit. He's actually he's on his way to the Bat Cave right now, driving like a maniac. So be safe out there, Tradefly, if you're driving. FD White, what is up, my man? I see you in the chat. OC, how are you doing today? What are your thoughts on this bounce, on this rally? I'm very cautious. I think I said any type of big moves that we get, or any type of rebounds, or any type of pumps that we get in August, I think are going to be suckers rallies. What are your thoughts on what's going on right now, and where are we in this market recovery phase, or do we have further downside? I'd love to hear your input.
Absolutely. I think we're going to 100K straight, one single candle, one gut candle. Everything is fine.
Let's go. Bye. I'm out of here. This is your show today, guys. You heard?
No, of course not. I mean, I don't know. So far as calling a stalker movement, I don't know if I will be 100% in with that train. Although I do see that we're bouncing out of a resistance that yesterday I showed on Chart Prime, and also my expectations are between a wide range, basically just making a little bit of a range before deciding whether we're going to keep going down. And if we do, I think we're going to be looking somewhere around 43,700 for a bearish scenario. Or better yet, which is what I do expect, the bullish scenario, a Wyckoff breakout to the upside and is slowly creeping up back to 72K for the rest of this month. So I don't think that we're going to have the gut candle this month. I mean, but also I don't think that things are going to get that worst, at least so far, in this time period of time. But other than that, yeah, I mean, things are not looking good.
They're saying, is that financial advice? Did you not watch I play a whole song over that segment, guy. No, shout out to Arsan246. No, the only financial advice you'll ever hear me give is learn this stuff so that you can make your own decisions. That's what I teach. I don't tell people what to do in markets. I teach people how to look at markets. What you do with that info, 1,000% on you. But, if you're Eric Wallen, you'll take it and you'll use it to beat people with. You'll take that information, you'll do something with it, and then you'll beat people with it in a violent method of words. Do not be friends with Eric Wallen if you are thin-skinned and sensitive. There you go. There's that's out for the community there. Let's jump over to the news. Let's take a look at what's going on over there, and we'll see fear and greed and stuff like that, guys. It's a little crazy right now. Let's go. Let's go over here. News brought to you guys by Decrypted.tax, our trusted tax official. Get 25% off your consultation, or free consultation, 25% off your services. Link down below. Let's check this out, guys. We are at extreme fear. Extreme fear. 17 is what we're looking at right now. We do have, yesterday we were at fear, 26. I said, I think this needs to go a bit lower. Last week, guys, we were at green, 67. Eric Wallen, I said, it is what I do. I know it's what you do, bro. That's why I love you, man. Last month, guys, we were at fear also. So you guys can see we're just really flipping around back and forth here. So let's go and check out the crypto bubbles here on the daily. Let's give it a refresh. Could I move that screen over to fit this setup? And I didn't finish it off. So there we go. Guys, on the daily, Ondo up 26.8%. So if you got it on that Ondo move yesterday, shout out to you. Render up 21.3. Caspa's back up 19.6. Brett's up 39.6. Guys, amazing rebounds. I will say that all day long. It is a great pump. Okay. But well, we'll get to that. Just hold that. We'll hold that butt for a minute, okay? We're going to come back to that. But look, moving over here to liquidations, guys. The past 24 hours, 82,076 traders were liquidated. Total liquidations coming in at $317 million. Largest single liquidation order happened on Binance. It was Ethereum, 13.4 million. So if you got 13.4 million to lose on a trade, go for it, man. Guys, here's one reason why I say have some caution. We got some data coming out, okay? We are in August 6th right now, so we got balance of trade today. Nothing major. You can see there's no big red blocks on there, okay? Thursday, we're going to get initial jobless claims. That's going to be another indicator of the workforce. How strong is the workforce? We moved down a little bit, though, guys, and going into next week, we got PPI. This is going to be a big one. This is the inflation. Remember the two things? It was labor force strength and inflation. Well, there's an inflation indicator next week for the good old Federal Reserve. And then on Wednesday, we're going to get that core inflation rate. So there are 2 days early next week, next Tuesday, next Wednesday, that are vitally important. So especially if we get a continuation here, because you can see it's 249. So think about this. Consensus 240. Forecast 247. Big spread there. If we come in at higher jobless claims than 249, we're really bad off, right? If we come in and then say it's 248, 247, it's still higher than what they are projecting, which is still a shock to the labor force, right? So we got some data coming in that you guys need to be keeping an eye on there, and we're definitely going to be doing that, guys. And then the earnings reports today, it is Tuesday, August the 6th. What we're watching today here, guys, we got Airbnb, Super Micro. That is going to be a good one to watch. SMCI, that is going to be this afternoon. They are a major competitor to NVIDIA and AMD. So Super Micro, SMCI, getting those this afternoon. What else do we have here? Upstart, and then Giga Cloud Technology. Those are 3 tech ones, big tech ones that I would be watching there. Moving over to tomorrow, Walt Disney's going to get theirs in the morning. We'll see. Lyft is on here, and then yeah, that's about it for tomorrow. That's major. Oh, Robinhood. We got Robinhood. Duh. Can't miss Robinhood. Thursday, though. Thursday, the one I'm watching. My one I'm watching right there. It is going to be Clean Spark Thursday after the market close. I'm going to be watching that one. Super close. So, guys, there's your earnings reports for the week. Let's go ahead and jump back over to Trio Cam with TradeFly. What's up, bro? How you doing, man?
What's going on, guys? How you doing? It's
you robotic. You got robotic voice, bro. We'll come back to you. You fix that, we'll come right back to you. So OC, we got the earnings reports. Nothing major going on this week. We got a couple of things like the job reports, the weekly job unemployment claims, right? But we do have PPI next week and core CPI. So those are going to be 2 major factors that everyone needs to keep an eye on, because remember, and this is my point that I said I was going to talk about. I want to say this. We still have conflict in the Middle East. Nothing's changed in the past 24 to 48 hours, okay? We still have a weakening labor force. Nothing has changed in the past 24 to 48 hours. We still have a Japanese carry trade effect. Nothing has changed in the past 24 to 48 hours. Okay. Weakening labor, still have a possibility of 50 basis points. Nothing's changed. You don't fix what's going on the economic US scale or the global economy in 1 to 2 days. It doesn't happen. So, yes, we got to rally. If you're trading it, good on you. I'm happy for you, but please proceed with caution. And that is not financial advice. That is just friendly advice. I don't want to see the alumni get burnt. So be careful. Now, at the end of the show, I'll tell you guys how I am approaching this because I think I did a lot of work yesterday and I was like, okay, how do I get into these dangerous waters without wiping out right off the shore, right? So I got a plan and I'll give you guys what I'm doing towards the end of the show. But OC, how are you handling all of this? What are you doing with it?
Absolutely. First of all, I'm not freaking out. That is the first point. The second point, it is to have a plan before. Yesterday, I told you guys I'm going to be showing you through this classes how to maybe get out of a losing trade. We're going to leave that for the end of the class. But it is important, and this is for the first lesson. It is important to always have a plan. Remember how Piper always said, have a plan. Remember that a smart trader, it is a prepared trader, and that involves taking a look at your worst case scenario, right? The second part, it is what am I looking for, right? At this point, remember that I do set stop losses on my latest entries. And unless it is a for real holding position, which in that case goes to a different bag, and I will not be touching that, and that is out of the scope completely, right? Other than that, I do set stop losses on every position, including leverage and spot positions, right? And I do take frequent profits. At this point, we are on one of my entry points, but I don't see the characteristics. What are the characteristics that I'm looking for? Very straightforward. Even if you don't want to jump into the news, I'm looking for bullishness into the market. I'm looking for a structure into the market, and I'm looking for a break back above resistances into the market. So far, we are below the zero line on the oscillator. Our prime score is very low, and we have some big resistances at the top of us. So unless we start breaking those, well, then that's not going to be a signal for me to buy in. And I'll be holding my bag of money for the next possible target. So far, I did mention that I'm looking at the next target to be 43,800 and then 28,300. I'm not saying that we're going to get there. I'm just saying that those are the next targets if everything goes wrong. Remember,
Well, we're going to get it. We're going to
for
get into the
worst case
TA
scenario.
section. We'll actually be able to show the chart. But yeah, I just wanted to know what you were doing, how you were approaching right now. Are you buying anything? Are you just letting your money sit? Are you cautiously dipping your toe in, stuff like that? But yeah, we're going to get into charts here in just a minute. So, Trade Fly, how's your mic working now?
I don't know. You tell me.
You're good, bro. You're good. Look at you. Yeah, he was coming in from work, guys, so he didn't have a chance to do any audio tests with us. So we apologize for Robo Trade Fly, but he's here now and we're ready. Trade Fly, how about you? How are you approaching this stuff right now? Are you dipping your toes in? Are you just trading some of this volatility? What are you doing with it right now?
Yeah, I've been pretty busy. So in terms of trading, I've kind of taken a backseat on that, but I've definitely been lathering in as the price has been coming down. I tell you guys pretty much every time, like when we got to the bottom of the range, I DCA'd in. When we got down to 50K, I DCA'd in. And so I basically have my lines in the sand. And as it hits those lines, I'm going to keep just, I guess, as you say, dipping my toes in on the way down and building up my position because I am going to move more to a HODL style bag, we'll say. But that's kind of my plan, right? I'm still gonna have my trading, my trading portfolio, but I do want to build up. I think the long game for me at this point is to own as much Bitcoin as I can. So that's going to be my focus probably here in the next 6 months to a year and see how much I can build it up. So you guys will be coming along on the journey with me, obviously. And we'll talk more as we go.
Awesome. Let's go ahead and go over a couple of things on X marks the spot here, and then we're going to jump into, oh Lord, what's going on here? I don't have a camera. TradeFly's not on here. Give me 1 second, guys. We will get this going, but we're going to talk about a couple of the things that are going on that I'm watching here on X. There we go. I'm back there. And then I just need the three pack. Let me get the 3-pack up here. There we go. 3, 2, 1, and I still have no camera. Look at that. I love it. Yeah, some things that I'm watching here on. There we go. I got a camera now. Right there. There we go. I got a camera. Cool. Oh yeah. There we go. All right. So got some things that I'm watching here on X marks the spot, guys. Get back in here. You guys know we always talk about how crypto exchanges always go down. It's so convenient that every time volatility comes in, right, it goes down. Yesterday, guys, a lot of X reporters were reporting that Charles Schwab, that they're going to be leaving it because of an outage that they had. And it wasn't just Charles Schwab, guys. There was a bunch of exchanges yesterday that went down for stocks, not crypto. So it's not just crypto exchanges, guys, that go, holy crap, you're pulling all of our liquidity out of our exchange. It's stock markets too. So I just wanted to point that out. I do want to remind you guys tonight, very, very important Billy Goat Tells session on X Space for you guys to catch. It's going to be CASPA. We're going to have they are going to have the CASPA team. We're going to be listening in. It's going to be good. Guys, if you've got questions and stuff that you want to ask, bring it up. I got a question. When are you going to be on Binance Coinbase? That's what I want to know, right? So we are going to be catching that one. And then last but not least, a little fun for you here. They never learn. I'm an idiot. Why didn't I buy Bitcoin at 49K when it's at $74,000? That was in March 2024. August 2024, I ain't buying that shit at 49K. That is the mentality of crypto people. So as Crux was saying in the chat, if we are looking at assets right now, you should be more in than out. That's his what he was saying in the chat there, and I don't disagree. You should be more, but I don't know that I would deploy all of my ape. I would not ape in right now. So that's just my opinion. Let's jump over to the charts. Let's jump over to the charts. Let's take a look at Bitcoin, because I want to show you guys what we showed yesterday on the Discord. We were getting the pump here, this rally and come up, cry to the top here. And I saw this wick right there, guys. And I pulled up that post that I had in Discord, one of my charts, dropped it in there. And I said, guys, look, this is a very interesting rejection point that we're getting right now. That was the bottom of the 618. You guys hear us talk about the OC retest all the time, right? We come through, we break out of the golden pocket. We found a little support down here in our green T box, get a rejection, more downside. I'm still of the mindset that we have downside coming. Okay. Now, do you guys want a little bit of hopium? Let me give you some hopium. You guys remember this up here? TradeFly, do you remember what this was up here? Do you remember?
Is that the lower part of the range?
It was the CME gap.
Oh, okay.
But you know what this is? This is a new CME gap. No joke. Let's jump over here and take a look at the BTC1. Guys, we closed Friday. Yep, we have a brand new CME gap above us. So just keep that in mind. I wanted you guys to remember that. Right now, we did get that rejection off of that golden pocket, the 618, and we are now pulling back down below the 300. I saw it pass up here yesterday, get a little bit of fight on the 300-day moving average, and then it punched up, got a rejection on that golden pocket, and we are now not catching a retest for support on the 300-day moving average. So I am seeing some weakness here that I'm being cautious of. Again, we got a little curvature coming here. It looks like we're about to get that curvature. We're getting small candles on the RSI primed. These all tell me indication on the 4-hour possible downside continuation. I will show you here on the daily, we do look like we are near the bottoming of the on the ranges here of the Oscillator Pro and on the RSI primed. However, just because you get a flat bottom doesn't mean it's squat candles. I want to see those shorter candles there. And we can continue down quite a ways. You can see we can bury all the way down on the Oscillator Pro. So we still do have a little ways to go. 48,500 is right there. That is the range that I do think is going to be touched, but I'm actually looking really at 45.2. That's what I'm watching for the most. So what I'm seeing here is, I'm trying to use the path more, so let me use this. What I'm seeing here is this the rejection here. I'm watching for us to come back down to the 50. I think we'll get a bounce there. There might be a little trade opportunity. Keep that in mind. I think we're going to come back up, though, and then we're going to pull back down a little bit lower in this correction. That will be where I will look in to get a lot of momentum going in this market. So, and remember, these little pumps up here and here can really turn this back up again without really moving price. So there you go, guys. That's what I'm watching right there. Let's go ahead and jump back over to Trio Cam. OC or Tradefly, do you got your heat map up? I'm looking here on your thing and I'm not seeing it. Oh, you got it up? All right, let's jump over to you. Let's see the heat map and see how that's looking. And then we'll go take a look at OC and see what he's seeing on the Bitcoin chart.
Right on. So let me give you a reason to watch Piper Academy. We have been calling this area down here at 50K for months, and I went and pulled some receipts. I know that at minimum, we've been calling for it since April 15th of this year. So I want you to take note of that. Why? It was because of this heat map and because there was a ton of liquidity, more than $1 billion worth of liquidity.
We didn't call it out 7 days ago?
What's that?
We didn't say it 7 days ago. I said this 7 days ago. Guys, bro, we said it months ago. Where have you been?
Yeah. Yeah, dude. I mean, we've been talking about this for a really long time, right? So, I mean, again, this liquidity now has been cleared out. And what I want you to see is on the bottom side. I talked about this a little bit on the nightcap last night, but look at the bottom. All right. The liquidity's gone. All right. So we would have to zoom out even more to see if there's another hotspot, maybe go to a year or something like that. But right now, there's no incentive to keep driving the price down lower.
Do it.
Now, what you have to work against is the resistance and some of the other, technical issues that Piper just talked about. But let's go to the 3-day and look where, liquidity is building up in the short term, right? So people were taking shorts, right? Thinking that price is going to go down. Look how quick that it's heating up right around 56.3. Okay. So the sentiment definitely, I would say, is leaning towards that they think the price action is going to continue to the downside. However, we're smart, right? We know that a lot of times the maker is going to get his, and he's going to want to try to grab that liquidity before making that move. So two things are going to happen, right? You may go up against that resistance, and we're going to look at that on the chart as well. But they're going to get at least a wick up to grab that liquidity before you see the move down. Now, coming over to the chart, just to tie that in, this right here, I've been talking about this channel for quite some time as well. This channel acted as resistance, all right? And it also kind of aligns where we had this area of support. So what was support? It looks like right now it's testing that area to see if we're going to flip that support into resistance, okay? So we got to be very, very careful where we're at right now. And as Piper's saying, there is that opportunity for downside only based on, or not only based on, but mostly based on this for me, all right? This area that was support being flipped into resistance. This is not a position where I would go long, okay? The position to go long was down here. If you're listening to Nightcap, what I say, clears out the liquidity. It's probably going to go down to the 2022 high and hit that as support before you make the move up, because you get a little bit of a cascading effect. So that's why we got that big bounce, all right? And that means the other thing you got to take note of, if you look at this on a larger time frame, is a big wick, all right? That big wick shows you that there is willing buyers in that area. So do not be surprised if we come down and revisit that area, we start seeing the RSI trend up and right as the arrow is indicating here. And then you get a nice retest for confirmation of a support area. Now, if that falls through, all right, let's say that the world is still falling to poo-poo, we're going, we're having wars break out, recession words all coming around again, then, there's still hope, right? You come down to the 2023 high, all right, at about 45K, and you go back left on the chart. Well, look, this was our last significant range before we had this range, all right? So this is what I love playing. I like looking at these ranges, Now, the top side of that range, if you want to get in early, 2023 high is an area to look at. That is currently at 45K and some change. All right. So that would be an area that I would look for support. But right now, I'm saying we play this range. Okay. Like I I am not, sold that we have to continue downside unless there's something that's going to drive the market down external to crypto. I don't think it's something based on crypto. I think it's world events, significant events that are going on with our economy that might be the catalyst for any kind of price action to the downside. Other than that, crypto looks bullish. And this is playing out exactly as, I was kind of anticipating, right? We come down, we clear out the liquidity, we set a higher low, and then we have that opportunity for movement to the upside unimpeded. Because if you go back to the heat map and you look at it on the 6 month again, where is all the liquidity sitting now? All the way up here. All right, so now that's where the bulk of the liquidity is sitting on the top side near all-time highs again. So now I'm not saying that necessarily we're going to drive that, because look how long it took us to get here. Remember, we were talking about this back, and I got April, and I know that I mentioned it before because I had said, if you watch me, you know what I'm about to say. So I know it was before that we were calling for it. So it could take months before we come up here and revisit this area again, because we got a lot of resistance to work through. But, it's just kind of a zoomed out look at it, a little bit of hopium, we'll say, for the day. That is not my style. If you guys know me, I'm usually the bear, but my bear scenario has played out. So now I am looking for some upside, and that's why I'm DCAing in as it's coming down, because I believe that we're due for side at this point to work through. But that's what I'm anticipating.
What in the holy matrix is going on right now? Let's go over here.
I have no idea what you just did, man.
I don't know either. We had angles, all angles. That's what we were doing there. Yeah. So I'm in agreement with you there on that. There is a lot of liquidity, and we do, like I showed you, we do have that CME gap above us. So, OC, what are you seeing on your charts? And then we're going to come back and talk about Tim Walz. It looks like we have a Kamala Harris running mate now that we could actually look at, and we're going to talk about Tim Walz, do a little bit of a chat about him, and then we're going to get into some altcoins. Then I'm going to tell you guys what I'm doing. How am I approaching this market in its current setup? So let's go over to OC's chart. What you got, bro?
Oh man, talking about Kamala Harris, I did saw a video yesterday where she was asked how she's going to be fighting inflation, and man, that wasn't a good answer. All right. So she needs to look at Piper Academy. So I'll bring a couple of receipts here. This is yesterday's session, somewhere around 25.33. We were talking about this area of support and basically bouncing up. I want to dive a little bit deeper within here. This is something that I always talk about. This is one of my favorite patterns, and this is called the Wyckoff method, right? This is not all the Wyckoff method, but this is really something that I like. This from the Binance Academy. They concentrated into an easy to digest complex scenario, right? As you can see, it is an advanced thing, but don't worry about it. Just basically follow the same things that I'm going to be showing you, right? What I want to see is going down, little range, V-shaped recovery, and the next high not higher than the previous little range, right? That is basically the main pattern that I'm looking forward to see. That will indicate me with 70% certainty that I can have a ranging scenario. How big or how far of a ranging scenario, we don't know, but it is at least a 70% chances of it playing out, right? That will also divide between a higher range and lower range. So guys, here is where we can make money, right? I'm not saying that it's going to break to the upside. It can also break to a downside, but the important part what I want you to take out of this section, it is the possibility of the range, right? And if we can calculate where that range ends, well, then it's just like a cheat code, right? We know when things are going to start moving. So let's go over to my Bitcoin chart, and this is a little bit more advanced because I did a particular class on Chart Prime, and I was calling for this movement. Something that I want to bring up, it is, where is my support? Oh, come on, where are my support and resistances are, right? Something that I'm absolutely missing, it is that I don't see the little range that I was talking about, right? So I need to be careful on where do I decide, because the market is not gonna be moving wherever I do decide something or not, but where I'm gonna be committing to think or speculate where that ranging area could be. I'm thinking somewhere around here because that's what I see congestion, right? And remember, we also have the CME gap. That might be a little bit to push it too far, but we still need to wait for it. Something important is that I'm seeing this kind of like indecision candles, and also something important, I was expecting a reversal on the oscillator. What seems to be happening, it is that that reversal is taking a little bit longer, as you can see right here, right? Which is a better signal. It's a good signal because we're pushing a little bit farther to the upside. Another important part that I want to shout out or bring to your attention, it is the compression of the clouds. Usually when we have that much compression, we're building up pressure, right? And that pressure usually, not always, but usually more often than not, breaks to the opposite where that compression is happening. That compression is happening at the bottom, so the burst should be to the upside. Another thing that Piper was talking about, it was a farther move or trickle down to the downside and then a reversal. That could be read as a failed swing pattern, right? A little bit like that. In that, a big characteristic of that is that we start building up some bullish divergences. I also want to see that bullish divergence, but honestly, I don't think that we're going to be having that swing failed pattern on the micro charts. And let me show you why. Every single, on this cycle, every single major movement has had not a farther movement to the downside, but a higher higher low, right? And whenever we have the swing failed pattern, we do reject out of the dynamic reactor. But look at that, when we have that higher low, well, then that usually set us up for the rest of the rally to the upside of the range, right? So just to clarify and show you the pattern that I'm looking for, it is this exact pattern. Look at that here. We don't have any specific little range or ranging area, but what we had is a V-shaped recovery, a high not higher than the previous little congestion area, right? And then a higher low. So that's exactly that higher low. That's the one I am expecting right at the border of that range and right below. Oh, there we go. Right above that loud order block that we are building up right here, very fast, very quick, right? Again, I will be trying to catch this range and make money out of this range, but guys, make sure that you understand that that is not a guarantee that we keep pushing forward. Remember what I just said. My other two entry areas are somewhere around 43,700 and then 28,100. I'm not saying that we're going to get there. What I'm saying is that I'm preparing for my worst case scenario. In the meantime, I will absolutely play this range as it was this range and this other range. So be prepared to make some money on those ranges. Calculate tops, calculate bottoms, look at your support, look at your resistance, and open up small positions to start dipping your toe in the water to see if that plays out, right? Remember, you don't want to jam in something that is not yet a higher probability of happening, right? At this point, we are seeing the signals, but we are not there. We are not there yet. So other than that, turning it back to you, Piper.
Awesome. Appreciate that, man. So we had someone ask the question about Tim Walz. What's his stance on crypto? Let's jump over here. I'll show you guys this. Tim Walz, pending stance on crypto. He's made zero statements about it. Matter of fact, if you want to know a little bit about him, he got elected back in I think 2012, a while back, 12 years ago. It's been a long time since he got elected. Maybe it was 2016. But he got elected as the governor up in Minnesota, and he got elected on a moderate platform. Just so you know, he was considered a moderate. Today, he is now the governor of a state that they call the Laboratory of Progressive Policy. So they do a lot of test stuff up there, and he pushes the limits of progressive movement and politics. So that's who her running mate is. No connection or comments at all to crypto. So again, if you're voting policy over preference, no crypto policy as of yet from Kamala and her new vice president running mate. Let's go ahead and talk about some altcoins because we got a lot of big movement on altcoins this week. The last 24 hours, I should say. So some things that I want to show there, and then I've got a chart for Bitcoin. We're a little dose of hopium up there with that CME gap, and then the approach. How are we handling getting into crypto? So Tradefly and OC, go ahead and get some altcoins ready. Guys, let us know in the chat what you would like to see some TA on, and we'll get that going. And if you guys are getting any value out of today's content, hit that like button, hit that subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you can get notified every time any of our shows on this channel go live, because we got the nightcap, we got the morning show report, getting ready to have Good Morning Crypto coming soon here probably next week with Blackie Chan and Lunar Beaches Crypto. So they're going to be doing Good Morning Crypto here on the channel. And we're talking to some other people in the space too. We're talking to some other people in space. Might be bringing some more content. So let's go ahead and jump into some altcoins. I'm going to go look and see what I've got here on my alts, and then I'll bring it up for you. Actually, I'm going to do this first. Get that list ready. I see Tradefly said he's got Sol, so we're going to run with that. Good morning, Baba Yaz. He said, good morning, professors. We appreciate you, man. Let's jump over to this chart, because you guys remember, I've made this comment so many times. As long as we maintain this range box on weekly closes, we are bullish, right? This is a bullish consolidation. Guys, look what's happening with the candle again. I just want to point this out. Look what's happening with the candle again. We are pulling back into the range box. I just wanted to bring that up real fast. And then I'm going to jump over, take a look at stacks first. I see it popping in here. And then we're going to come back, get Solana, get whatever you guys are dropping in there. So can you see the AMD stock? Yeah, we're going to look at that. And I'll look at CleanSpark too. So if OC, can you add AMD and CleanSpark on the list as you're writing it down over there? And then I'm going to go look at stacks right now and see how stacks is looking. Get over here. And let's grab stacks. Got stacks on stacks on stacks. All right, so looking at stacks here, we did hit that 1-to-1. We went below it slightly here, pulled back down in, and then retraced back up into the candle, getting a nice bounce right there off that 1-to-1 line. That is at $1.24, and now it looks like it's hitting the value area low right here. This value area low right here is going to be the resistance to watch if we can't get through it. Likely heading back down to the downside. And if we do get through it, watch right here. That is going to be your point of control overlapping with the 887 of the platinum pocket. I know a lot of things on these 4 hours are saying, hey, look, we're set for upside, right? I can see that. I know what you guys are talking about. This is a daily that we're seeing this on. No. 4 hour. 4 hour is definitely showing that we are looking at a possible downside on here. So we're getting ready to get that curvature. We're getting that candle. This looks like it's setting for a downside. On the daily, though, a little bit different than what we saw in Bitcoin. It is looking like it is going to get a little movement here. That's why I'm saying we could get a push through the value area low up to this point, but watch for a rejection there. And of course, that would be a lower high and then go down to set a lower low. So that's what I'm seeing on stacks. Proceed with caution. It's all dependent on Bitcoin right now. Let's go ahead and kick it over to the Tradefly and see what he's looking at there on the Sol trade.
Right on. So I got Sol on the daily. What I did is a fixed range volume profile on the range that we've been in essentially since March of 24. So as you can see, the point of control is starting to align really with the 200 SMA on the daily, as well as dynamic reactor. Basically, I talked about this on the show. There's a lot of resistance up here. I was talking about, I think we were sitting at about 130, and I was like, don't be scared of riding that one up to where the resistance is for a short-term play. However, we are now at that area of resistance where I would probably exit on a short-term play and then, look for the next trade setup, or just see if we get through all of this resistance. Like, this isn't something I want to mess with. If I'm doing something, on the shorter term, intraday, scalp, I don't want to mess with this area. Okay. I would be looking for a little bit of a rejection just based on that. But, Bitcoin's daddy. So we'll see what happens. If Bitcoin continues up, then we might be looking for something where it hits this area of resistance, comes back, get the OC retest, and look for that continuation up and right. However, you do want to see this start to bend up and right. You want, a couple things to align for you. Bitcoin needs to move. The prime oscillator needs to start moving up and right. And then you want to get on top of this resistance right here. Look for a retest before you can be comfortable with some continuation up and right. So short term though, this is resistance. So don't mess with that right here. This is not where I would go long. And that is sitting at about 142. So we're testing that area right now. So we could get some maybe I'm not going to say a closure on the daily, but we could get some closure in terms of what we can expect today to see where we're going to go. So keep an eye on that area. In the short term, if we do get past all this resistance, then the next area I'm looking at is a horizontal level. There's a little bit of a range here. You can see the wicks here. And then you have where very clearly where it was support before it ultimately broke down, came up, retested it, yada, yada, yada. But that's an area I would definitely look for some price action. So really anywhere between 160 to about 162 is the next real area that I would look for some resistance if we break through all of this. That's kind of your topside target in the short term. And then for support, you have this area here. So it just depends. If we're showing strength, you might see it just come down, retest this area, and then come up. And then this was just the worst of it, right? But this wick is showing you that there was definitely willing buyers here at about 111. It does coincide with the value area high of a previous range. That's why it's important to leave these things up, because look, it was pretty much spot on that it hit the value area high of this previous range. So that's why I leave these up, just if you're wondering why that's still there. This was my buy zone right here at about 121. We have talked about that before. That's why I was highlighting in green. You can see the wicks of previous hits there of support. We've tested this area quite a few times. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at for Sol. Like I said, I would expect some support at 128. Worst case scenario, 121. But right now we're at a pretty significant area. So it looks like Bitcoin is actually trying to make a little push up. We're at about 56K. So that seems to be an area of resistance as well. So you're finding that Bitcoin and Sol are both at resistance at the same time. So today is going to be very telling, I think, in which direction we're going to be headed. If you look at some of the altcoins, like I pulled a couple up just to see what their trend is. It really is a series of lower highs and lower lows. You're not seeing quite the same thing here on Solana. Solana's holding up a little bit stronger. That's bullish. All right. So keep that in mind. Solana did have a pretty harsh fall from 191. I think a lot of that was news based. People were kind of talking about Solana in a negative way, saying, hey, some of their total value locked and things of that nature were not legitimate. That picked up a little bit of steam. And I think that kind of aided in the price drop we had on top of the event that just went down. So overall, I mean, I'm still feeling pretty bullish on Solana at these levels. We got a long ways to go in terms of upside potential for Solana.
Nice. Username said words up and right, words today. Choo choo. That's what he said.
Chugga chugga.
The chugga chugga. That's right. OC, what do you got on your chart there, bro?
Absolutely. I want to get started with Jupiter, and also I'm going to take advantage. Well, I want to get started with oil, but I do have Jupiter right now. I do have a ton of Jupiter, and let me be honest here, I have more than I would love to, but it's one of those things that, man, I'm also human. I also let my emotions take over, and it was one of those coins that I just said I can't get enough of, right? I'm not saying that you should. I'm just saying what happened to me. All right. Be careful with that. And also always try to have a balanced wallet. So something that I was looking at here, it is this constant movement that Jupiter have in that very beautiful trend that shows you that it builds and kind of like breaks very beautifully, right? So right here we have the same YKF pattern that I was talking about, little range, we show your recovery high, not higher than the previous one, and that gives 70% chances of continuing the range. Right now we have broken, or we did broke the uptrend, and what we want to look at is a breakout of the pattern that we have, and we have a beautiful trend line here, almost breaking out or basically breaking out, but I would not be considering that as a breakout just yet because we are not there yet on our oscillator, right? At least for me, I'm expecting to break through the zero line before I call this an actual breakout. So I want to see it move a little bit higher, maybe into this high order block, maybe going for the retest, and then off we go, make a break through that dynamic reactor and keep moving and pushing forward. So far, I do estimate that we're going to have the same range that we're going to be seeing on Bitcoin. Again, the Bitcoin thing is going to be one of those things that I'm going to keep my eye on because everything else is going to move based on Bitcoin. Something that I'm pushing right now into the chart, guys, it is the Piper Academy's guide that I put together to read oil. This is going to be important because you're going to be seeing the news going a little bit crazy throughout this week and pushing some FOMO or food throughout the markets, but do not let them manipulate what you think and what you feel. Do your own analysis. I put together a little chart on how to read oil, and basically, and I know this is a little bit messy, but we don't want to fall below the 71,700. But also, I am reading right now a couple of important things that could be for a bounce. Let's go to a cleaner chart. And those important things, it is a candle pattern, which I see right now. Look at those weeks that we're having right now. Look at how the oscillator is pushing up. And more importantly, look at our prophecy. It just changed, right? We still need to be a little bit careful. It is not there yet, right? If I turn on my indicators here, you see that I start building up a little bit of a support. Well, then it doesn't show it. Maybe it's a little bit slow, my internet today. But here we go. We have a big area of support getting built at these areas. And yeah, I mean, it is looking not that bad, but we are not bullish. I just need to make sure that we understand that on S&P 500, we are going for the breakout retest. Once again, looking good for that retest. But again, our prophecy hasn't changed. So till now, I'm aiming for a further continuation. Keep tuned because we are right now filling in that CME gap. Other than that, guys, I just want to tell you, do not panic. But before looking at altcoin entries, start looking at Bitcoin and the global markets before, jumping into the pool. Test the waters, go small position, go small leverage. And of course, if you can, DCA, not financial advice. Back to you guys.
Awesome. Yeah, we got we're gonna probably run just a little bit late on today's show. If one of you guys got to go, let me know. I can split it back over. But I'm going to try to get through as many of these requests today because I think we're at some volatile times and people need a little bit of reassurance and info. So for the alumni, we're going to stick around a little bit later for you guys today. And try to get through some of these. Let's go ahead and jump over to take a look at AMD. I'm going to knock out AMD and then I'm going to knock out CleanSpark. Let's look at CleanSpark first, guys. This is this level that we had been talking about down here, $10.42. I'd had this on the chart for months now. Shout out to Eric Wallen. That was both of us. We talked about this level for a long time. We talked about this level up here for a long time. That's where we came down to and closed our candle above. Small wick down below it, hitting just below the 382 on the Fibonacci's. Yesterday, we talked about the oversold and that we were looking like a bottoming here on the RSI, that we were sitting quite low on it. Let me get rid of those lines and let's start this fresh and clean here with no lines. There we go. One thing that I am seeing here, we did get back above the 300-day exponential moving average here up to the 50%. But what do I always tell you guys about that 50% fib line? When we get a rejection from the bottom, it is bearish. If we get a bounce from the top, it's bullish. We got a rejection from the bottom on this, guys, and it looks like right now we're trying to hold in between this 300-day, but I do think it's possible that we could be heading back down. You can see the flattening here on top of this candlesticks of the RSI primed Heikinashis. That typically indicates, hey, we're looking at we're losing this momentum and heading back down again. Of course, if we hold this 300, we could just kind of trade here in this range between the 200, 300, and that value area low there of the fixed range volume profile. You can see that back there. There's the low. But there is this volume node right here, and that's what I'm watching back down here for a support range. That, again, coming in at about $10.50. Something to keep in mind about CleanSpark, guys. They have earnings reports coming out at the market close on Thursday. We're a couple of days away from that. So That level of volatility that we're seeing could absolutely play out. There's a lot of sell-off. People don't like to be in a stock in the stock market when an earnings report comes out, so they tend to get that. They tend to get, take some profit out and hold off on it, right? So that would fit with what we're seeing here on these oscillators for more downside movement. $10.50. What I'm watching there. Let's go check out AMD, and then we'll pass it back around to TradeFly. Let's look at here, guys. So we've had these fibs on here. I've done this TA for you guys before, talking about this, and I do want to show you right here. There was a multiple bullish divergence print on the Oscillator Pro. We did get a peak seeker that peaked here on the bottom, saying, look, we're at the bottom, but guys, look, you would not have wanted to long that because you were below key resistance. That is the golden pocket, right? So we came up to it. Well, we came down to the platinum pocket, 786, 121. We got a check mark saying, hey, this has played out. There's check mark 1, check mark 2, right? We did get the play out on this. However, we came back up and got another rejection there on that 0.66 of the Fibonacci golden pocket. I would say that we're likely heading back down, and you can see that right here because we are below that zero line. It looks like we're getting a ribbon flip, and we do have a red candle on RSI Prime with that little curvature coming in. I'm expecting to see AMD come back down to 121 easily. If it gets to that point and it doesn't hold, guys, you're looking at 108.28 here on the platinum pocket bottom there. So that's what I'm seeing on AMD and Clean Spark. Let's pass it over to TradeFly, see what he's got there on his chart.
Right on. So I got Jupiter up on the daily right now, just kind of going through, looking at that, looking at this support area that we touched at about 66 cents, coming back left on the chart, just kind of seeing how that lines up here. You can see it definitely is a nice little area to keep an eye on. Obviously, we've already gotten that wick off of it, so probably a little late in the game here. But now we're kind of working up. And the thing that I'm really keeping an eye on the daily is the moving averages, right? So the 50-day here, that's this blue, the royal blue color one on my chart. That's going to be kind of your first pit stop. You can see when we had the breakdown, when it actually broke down, it retested that area before ultimately breaking down. So keep an eye on that area. That's sitting at about 86 cents. So not a bad move from, where we're at now.
That's not far off from what OC said either, because OC did Jupiter first. But yeah.
Oh, did he? Sorry.
Yep. Sorry about who was paying attention to class today?
Yeah, I wasn't even paying attention. Let's move over to Ondo then. I don't want to repeat Jupe. I looked over here, I saw that it wasn't checked, and then I just started working on it. So I tuned you out, man. I'm sorry. Let's go.
It's all right, TradeFly. We love you, man.
And now Ondo is checked. Is this thing delayed or what?
No. I was just checking because
that's
you
for
said
you to do Ondo.
You're taking it. Yeah.
Oh, because I'm going to do it. Okay, got it. I'm like, what's going on? All right. This is a mess with TradeFly day now that he's back. Got it. Sweet. Ondo. So I'll say Ondo, there's another one where I give you these areas here, support, kind of a buy zone. Yeah, and you can see it was here, right? I hadn't even pulled the chart up yet. So that was an area that I was interested in at 69 cents. We're not far off of that. So, I'm not too scared of it. What are we retesting right now, or what are we testing as resistance? Is this fixed range volume profile, the value area low? Okay, so you can see that's acting as resistance right now. So what you can do is just kind of take a horizontal, put it on there, match the color a little bit, and there you go. All right, so you can see where it's actually retesting that area. So you got to make through that. All right, so that's currently at time now, so that's about 73 cents. Your next stop is really going to be, let's do another horizontal and look at the point of control. All right, so now let's just match that color up a little bit. Just a little bit more faded. There you go. Cool. So that's about 82 cents. So that's kind of the next area that I'm going to be looking for some resistance, because we've gotten so far under all of the moving averages, the dynamic reactor. We got a long ways to go before we're going to retest those areas again, because those are sitting up at about 97 cents to 95 cents. They'll start trending down as price action stays down here, or if we consolidate in a range, you'll start seeing all of those kind of eke down to the right. But as of right now, the only thing that, I can really pin to is looking at this range and seeing, okay, where do we have support and resistance within this range? Now, point of control is one thing, and you'll probably get some resistance there, but really this value area high, you can see like, look where the resistance is. All right. And then what do we do right here? This is the OC retest we talk about. All right. Now this is on the daily, so it's going to be even more apparent on the 4-hour. This is what we're talking about. It goes up, comes down, it retests this area right here. All right. And then we get boom, take off. Right. So where would I play that up? Like if I was doing this like scalping or intraday trade, then I'm looking at these wicks up here. You can see I had it labeled as support when it was coming down, but let's go ahead. This is what I would have done if I was doing a scalp or an intraday trade. All right. I would have looked for the retest. I would have wrote it up to here, and that would have been my exit. That's my play. I'm done. Live to fight another day. But once it gets up here, then we start looking at this again, right? Because we see like if it comes back down to retest it, you get some price action off of it. So that's when I say like these areas, you mark those and they become significant areas of price action. So all that to be said, what are we doing right now? 82 cents is where I would be looking for some sort of rejection and price action off of that. And then further up, you're looking at the value area high. We could end up back in this range, right? So that's what I'll keep an eye on. It's really hard for me to say like, hey, this is where we're going to go right now because we have such a significant drop. We're not in a range. We haven't formed a range. So it's really hard for me to kind of make a judgment on what I anticipate going or where I think we're going to go. But if you're looking at the prime oscillator, that's recovering. We got over sold here. So now it's starting to bend back up and right. And actually prophecy, like you're not seeing this on a lot of the charts right now. A lot of them are still seeing dumps. All right, this one's actually saying market pumps, so that's interesting. So if we get on the top side of this, again, OC retest, as we always talk about, look for that. Look for a movement up in here. That'd be a quick little trade that you could probably take, and click the wrong one here. You can take that from there to there. That's a 12% move. That's a really nice play. In terms of what it looks like long term, still bullish, still okay. Just depends on where you go with it, but like. If you're taking it from here to here, you're still good. I almost would like to say that this wick is, I'm not going to say it's insignificant because it wicked down there. You would say it's a lower low, but it didn't close. Right. And a lot of people like to say it's more about where it closed, vice where the wick went, because a lot of times wick price action, especially when you get a cascading effect with the market, you can get these crazy wicks. But like I always say too, these wicks are created by buyers. All right. So when you get these long wicks that's saying, hey, at this area at 50 cents, people are like just piling in. It was too good to be true. So they were buying as much Ondo as they could. So if we do come back down to those areas, just know where people are willing to buy. That's definitely at 50 cents. But short term, I gave you a couple of price targets to look at. Overall, hopefully what we do is just reclaim this range. And then we can go from there, and we can see how the oscillator starts building and see if that moves up and right. And so that's kind of what I'll be looking for on Ondo. I think Ondo is a strong play, long-term play. They got they got a very good backing. So this is one I'd be pretty bullish on just in a long term. I did actually add to some Ondo as well, just to be transparent with this.
Yeah,
this
absolutely.
Latest pullback.
I'm very bullish on Ondo also. It's right there with Cass in my mindset, my sentiment for bullishness. So yep, that's a good call on that. And Brutal said further flesh out his hopium, bottom is in, send it. So he's obviously very bullish on Ondo also. Send it. That's right. OC, what do you got for us, man? And then I'm going to come back around. We're going to talk about some Caspa. So what do you got?
Absolutely. I just received an email, and guys, this is for Latin America. So if you haven't had a premium discount, make sure you use a VPN. I just shared the link for you guys to use in here. It's still 5 days left. As you can see, 70%. This is not a sponsor of the channel, but I still thought to share with you guys to take advantage of that. Remember, use a VPN for Mexico or whatever Latin American, and use the link that I show you. We do not get any kickback. We don't get any special thing of anything. Just in case you haven't had it, well, then there you go, guys. So other than that, let's take a look at TAO. TAO looking good for me. I'm not into TAO, but I might get some today. And why is that? Despite everything is looking bearish and we are pretty bearish, look at the daily, right? Something that is important to me, it is candlestick patterns, right? As you can see, we had a huge week in here comparable to all the way back in here. And yes, this candle week still end up trickling down, right? But majority of those weeks represent a push at least to the dynamic reactor. I know we have a ton of volatility, but since we haven't broke the previous, or technically we did not close below the previous low in here, well then this week makes me bullish. So it's not that I'm going to be jumping in just because, and also I'm not going to be spending a ton of money, but also as you can see, we're bouncing out of a solid support, and then I'll be aiming to maybe hit the dynamic reactor in there. I'm not telling you to buy it, but I am seeing a little bit of a possibility in here for a low leverage entry on my case. Again, I do not recommend leverage. Make your own analysis before jumping in if you are going to. All right. And the next thing I want to build up in here, it is where are my order blocks. As you can see, we do not have any order block right down below. So we only have resistances. Once again, that indicates me that we're still bearish, but I can take maybe advantage of this upcoming movement that could be happening in here to this order block. As you can see, I'm aiming to 317 for my next taking profit. Let's go something like the 4 hour that we might be able to trade. On the 4 hour, it's a little bit too late, and we could be going over, under rejecting out of the dynamic reactor. Something important is that we do have the little Reggie here. We do have the V-shaped recovery, and we could be just bouncing off of this area. But something that keeps me a little bit more bullish than bearish, it is the proximity with the dynamic reactor, and that we just broke through the zero line. That indicates me that there's a small chance, again guys, we're bearish, but there's a small chance I can break out, retest, and off we go. So by looking at daily, this entry right here, I will be mostly going 2x on this possible entry. I'm setting my stop loss somewhere around this area and letting it go to see where it takes me to. This is going to be one of those casino entries, all right? So in the 4 hour, it could be doing whatever it wants, but as long as it doesn't take me out, I'll be fine to whatever it does, right? Either if it rejects and takes me out to possible entry, or sorry, on my stop loss here, or basically if it breaks out, retest, and on the retest right here, I'll be moving my stop to entry, and then if it keeps going up, perfect. If it takes me out on my entry point, well then also perfect. So it's looking good. I'm not gonna be lying, we're still very bearish, but this is something important for me, the breakthrough, the rebound through the zero line, and of course the proximity to that dynamic reactor. Other than that, turning it back to you guys.
Awesome. Now I'm going to go take a look at CASPA. But first, I want to jump over here and take a look at what I'm seeing here on the heat map, guys. Because on the Saturday chart and chill session, I talked to you guys about some of the stocks that I was looking at that are recessionary proof. And I talked about Walmart and McDonald's and P&G. Those are the big three that I talked about because they do tend to do quite well during recession periods, guys. You can see here, NVIDIA is up 3.2% today, recovering some of its losses. But we got Apple down, Google's down, Amazon's down, Tesla is down. A lot of the big seven not doing so hot. AMD's down 2.33%. But let's take a look here at this. Walmart up 1.17%. It's not a lot, but guys, it's recessionary proof. This is where money starts to flow into during recessionary periods, and the threat of recession is giving people that. So Costco, one that I did not have on my list, but doing quite well, up 2.33 today. P&G, that's one of the other ones that I talked about. It is up 1.11% today, and then McDonald's is up 0.83. So those recessionary calls actually playing out here. One thing that I do want to point out here, though, to you guys is this right here. Look at the banking sector. They are all green. They are getting a lot of movement because those rate cuts, right? That means they can lend out more money cheaper. And so there's a lot of green coming in there on the banking sector. Let's jump over to CASPA. CASPA is getting on the 4 hour a market dump signal. It was sitting at market pumps a few minutes ago, so it's kind of at that threshold, flipping back and forth. But one thing that I want to point out is here, We came down and we bounced on this phase 6 golden pocket at 12.8 cents. At the same level was the value area low, the 300-day exponential moving average. That's why I had that line there. I told you that I have these set because we tend to do these movements in 2 phase line segments, increments, right? And so I said, I'm looking for us to go past this if we do bounce here. That's why I have this red T box here. The next one is sitting up here at the phase 8 golden pocket at 16.1 cents. We got up here, we got above the 100-day exponential moving average, went right past the point of control, closed the candle on it actually, and now the 50-day exponential moving average is the rejection point. But look, we're getting another level of candle close support on the 4-hour right here on this phase 8. That is the 8.618 golden pocket at 16.1 cents. Something that I'm going to be watching here is we are coming in on the 0 line, so be careful with the Oscillator Pro. We are flattening out on RSI Prime, which does indicate pullback. What I'm going to be watching here is that we come back and retest the 8618 on this 100-day exponential moving average before getting another push up. Where am I assessing that we head to? Probably the phase 9618 at 17.8 cents, guys. A lot of resistance here. We have the dynamic reactor. We have the value area high of the fixed range volume profile, which is coming in right there on that volume node, big volume node there, okay? And then on top of that, we have that golden pocket, 9.618 at 17.8 cents. So huge amount of confluence right there for resistance. But first, yeah, I do expect to see us, let me stretch this out. I do expect to see us come back down. So one thing, let's go here and I'll just do a path line. I'm trying to use these path lines for you guys more and more. So I think that we come back down to here. Then we come up to here and test that level. If we get a rejection here, I would like to see us continue to trade right back into this range again. So this would be the range that I'm watching right here between the phase 8 and the phase 9 golden pocket. Remember, CASPA does have a thing going with Binance pull for mining. So it might be hitting Binance very soon for sell. It's still not for sell on the 2 biggest exchanges globally. So shout out to CASPA. Lastly, guys, let's go over here just to remind you. We do have on tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the CASPA team on Billy Goat Tail. So I'm definitely going to be there watching that. Very excited about it. Who's got TA up next? Oh, Treyfly, you got anything?
I think I was just looking at True.
Okay, let's go jump over there, and then we'll come back, and I'll give you guys your hopium and what I'm doing to approach this market. So
cool. I'll keep it pretty quick on True. I got a fib retracement up on the daily, and it looks like it's lining up pretty well here. So you can see that it's honored some of these areas, mainly the 0.5 and the golden pocket. You can see it's interacted with pretty significantly. So that is really what I'm looking for right now. We've kind of recovered the top side of the platinum pocket at about 8.4 cents or so. I wouldn't be surprised to see a move up really where the 200-day SMA is, the dynamic reactor is, the golden pocket is. You know, you see kind of a trend between a lot of these altcoins right now. There's a lot of resistance to the top side, and that's really what we have to deal with at this point. But to see a move for TrueFi up to about 11 cents to 11.8 cents, I wouldn't say that's unrealistic, but do expect some resistance in that area. Right now, your support is at 8.4 cents, which is really the top side of the platinum pocket. If it does continue to fall, keep an eye on this trend line. Keep an eye on the bottom part of this platinum pocket, which is at 6.3 cents. And then this trend line. This trend line goes all the way back, right? It carries all the way out. So we keep this, I would say, still semi-bullish in a way, even though if you're looking at it from, June of this year, it looks terrible. But the overall structure, it goes in waves, and it is what it is when you're talking about the market here, especially the crypto market. But if we maintain the bottom side of this platinum pocket, as well as this trend line, I think that might be a good opportunity to get in if it does continue to fall down and right. So not really anticipating that though, but again, Bitcoin, some of the other alts, the bigger alts, the larger, we'll say mid cap alts are at resistance right now. So it's kind of, a wait and see approach, and, just keep an eye out on those levels.
Awesome. Let's jump over here. I want to talk about this chart, guys. This was put out by Titan of Crypto, and he talks about this right angled descending broadening wedge. Okay, and you can see when it comes in from it ascends into this pattern and it gets into this broadening wedge. A lot of times, most times, it does break out to the upside. We currently have Bitcoin doing that same pattern right now. There's the big wick that we just went through right there. And it is getting the support down here on a broadening wedge. Let's go over and try to rebuild this. He's looking at a daily. Let's go over here and put this on a daily, and let's just rebuild this and see how this is looking. That broadening wedge that he's calling out there is coming across the top here. So let's put that on right there. And then he's got a broadening wedge coming off the bottom of those wicks. Let me go back and double check that. Yep, it is off that pattern right there. So this one right here is where he's calling this off of. Let me lock it in there. A little bit off there on his chart. It did wick down below it, but we are seeing this, guys. We are in this broadening wedge. We probably even bring it in for the candle closes, and that's going to give us a more accurate. You can see now it's just wicking going down below it. On that broadening wedge pattern, guys, just, typically it does break to the upside. So be aware, we do have that going for us. There's your little dose of hopium. That's about all I can give you on the hopium side front, guys. But
hey, come over to my chart real quick.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, so let me add to the hopium here. All right. So Keeper was talking about this on his X account. Now, it's not something I would necessarily say that it has a high likelihood or probability of playing out, but we are forming a cup and handle, all right, on the weekly. So it's massive, all right? It's a massive cup and handle. And yes, that still technically would fall within the time frame of a classic cup and handle, all right? It can be up to, I think it was like 64 weeks or something crazy. So I went back and started reading up on it because I was like, let me get smart on this. I'm curious now. So, a pullback to the 0.5, which is at about 45,000, is actually still in play. That's actually kind of traditionally, the pullback that you would expect with a cup and handle. The freaking top side of this is well over 100K. If you were to say like, hey, that's the measured move out of the cup and handle. So just some little hopium for you guys to take a look at on the weekly. When you zoom out, this doesn't look that bad. Now, if we start breaking down through some of these levels, if we get under that 2023 high and we get under the dynamic reactor, then we start having a discussion of like, okay, maybe we're gonna have some issues here. But right now, still bullish. I'm not scared of this. Again, I am the anti-bear today, just to be honest with you.
Well, I actually lied. I do have other hopium. We do have that CME gap we talked about above us that we're coming up to. So we do have that, and we are closing that weekly candle inside of the range box. So there is that. Let's go over here and talk about how I'm approaching this, guys. And I know we're a little bit longer than normal, but I think you guys needed to get this data today. Class ran a little bit over. The next class will understand. Tell the professor I gave you a permission to be late. Here's your permission slip. So here we go, guys. What I'm doing right now, you guys know I took some profits over the weekend before it had this crazy dump. I'm glad I did because I was able to look at yesterday and go, okay, these are levels that I'm looking at. I've got about 10 crypto tokens that I am adamantly bullish on, okay? And I have started a daily buy of $10 per in each of those 10, period. Every day, $10 is being put into those 10 crypto tokens. It's Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Caspa. I'll give you guys the breakdown in the Discord. If you're in the Discord, you're going to get over there. That is what I'm doing with all of that. So, I am watching to see, how those play out, but dollar cost averaging, never a bad move, especially when you're doing it in micro little buy-ins. So $10 daily on 10 cryptos. And then I also did put in some buy orders that got hit on some of my stocks. So I added to some of my stock positions, micro strategies. Remember on the 8th, they're doing a 10-to-1 split. I'm definitely bullish on micro strategies. And then I also picked up some more NVIDIA down at these levels and some more Clean Spark down at those levels. So That's what I'm doing to buy in, to keep exposure and to keep taking advantage of these dips and these lower lows. So, that's my plan. That's what I'm doing. Shout out to Beginner's Block. Guys, tomorrow we're going to have a guest on that specializes in the mining world. That's his focus, really. He's not a subject matter expert per se, but he focuses on that world of mining. We're going to have him on as a guest tomorrow. So be watching for that teaser. I'm going to put that out in the Discord and on X today. So if you're not following us on X, make sure you guys check those right there. You can follow all of us right there on X. And then that's what we got time for today. TradeFly, you got anything for the people on the way out? OC, we'll come back to you right after TradeFly. TradeFly, what do you got, man?
Yeah, no, I'll keep it really quick. It's great mixing it up with you guys in the chat as always. Love, being here and doing some TA with you guys, and it's just cool to be back on the show. But yeah, catch me in FD White tonight, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's going to be the crypto nightcap, and we'll go for about 30 minutes, and then we'll push everyone over to Billy Goat Tales. That's kind of our Tuesday tradition now at this point. So hopefully, I'll see you guys there.
OC, what you got, bro?
Guys, thank you so much for joining. Seems like you did click that like button yesterday because we absolutely bounced, and we got these two guys bullish as no other time. So, I mean, of course, we need to be prepared and be careful, guys. Thank you so much for joining today. Remember to click that like button, because if you do, we might get a big surprise with Bitcoin throughout this upcoming week. I don't know. Let's try it out. Click that like button and maybe see that magic pump up. So other than that, turning back to you guys.
Awesome. And then shout out also to Beginner's Block. He's actually in the Billy Goat Tales collab hub. So shout out to him. He is he's pretty cool. He's a cool guy. And then tomorrow, guys, we're going to have Dominic over here. He's going to be coming in from Beginner's Block. He's going to be on the show. So that is the guy right there. So I just wanted to double check and make sure, guys, we appreciate you being here. We are going to definitely give any updates that we can in the Discord community today. And then tonight, we're going to be watching Billy Goat Tales. So until then, guys, don't forget to check out Nightcap. And then we're going to head to Billy Goat Tales, and then we'll be back here tomorrow morning at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, bringing you guys the news, the charts, and the markets, and everything you need to have knowledge, because knowledge is profit. Until then, guys, trade safe. And as always, here's a stop loss. Later.
I don't know what they keep telling me. I don't know what they keep telling me. Ain't no school like Piper Academy. Ain't no school like Piper Academy. We'll keep that front line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling after the wheels fall low. I know you hungry for knowledge, that's profit appetite. Classes in session, this for the Army Piper acolytes. Trade flag at the soul train ready. What a line from OCI, from a Mexican spaghetti. Yo, crunch crypto with a deep dive to project dime. And if you like the visual powered by Tar Prime, then you were part of that alumni, that's all spine. But if you have step, fall back to offline. We'll keep that front line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling after wheels fall low. Sound off.
To get rhythm, the ZTS rhythm. Rip it, Alexandra.
Yeah, that's my alumni, you know what I mean?
That was awesome, dude!